What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with a major story. So it looked like we got some ground shaking, some movement coming out the WNBA pipeline. A reporter has pretty much let us know when to expect WNBA free agency. Now, one of the biggest talking points for this offseason has been, where is so-and-so players going to go? We can't even have free agency without having a CBA deal done. Now, Annie Constable of Front Office Sports just released a groundbreaking articles, guys. We're going up to New York for this one, and we're already here. So, with that being said,
the WNBA season has just been thrown into total chaos, sending shockwaves across the entire league and putting Caitlin Clark's highly anticipated debut in serious danger. New reports reveal a bombshell article confirming that free agency could be pushed back to early March, creating a schedule crunch so tight it threatens to blow up the entire season timeline. This isn't just about player movement anymore. It's a desperate race against the clock to finalize a new collective bargaining agreement by early February, or risk everything unraveling. The league is staring down a calendar packed so tightly that a season delay is now a real possibility, leaving both fans and players wondering what happens next. The pressure has never been higher, especially with the league's incoming superstar at the center of it all. According to the report, the WNBA would gain an additional 30-plus days to complete free agency. The article dropping right now even suggests the league could be weeks away from delaying the season altogether. Yes, schedules were released yesterday. Every team has theirs, but in my honest opinion, I still don't believe we're headed toward a lockout. I truly think a deal gets done, though I'll admit I could be wrong. This bombshell stems from increasingly tense negotiations over a new CBA after the previous extension expired without any resolution. The players' union submitted a proposal more than a month ago demanding a massive shift, calling for 30% of the league's gross revenue and a staggering $10 million salary cap. This isn't casual bargaining. This is a push for transformational change that could completely reshape WNBA player earnings. Yet, as of Friday, the league still hasn't responded. That silence is only fueling uncertainty around every part of the upcoming season. And here's the reality. If free agency starts in March, there's no way the season begins May 8th. No ifs, no buts. It's just not happening. Free agency still needs to play out. Training camps still need to happen. Teams need time for conditioning, installing offenses and defenses, and preparing for real competition. That alone tells you May is unrealistic. And the proposed financial overhaul goes far beyond the salary cap. Union demands include a supermax contract jumping to $249,000 and a minimum salary rising to $66,000, numbers that would redefine the financial future of the WNBA. These reports are gaining serious urgency as the clock races toward a make-or-break early February deadline to get a new CBA signed. Without that deal in place, the entire free agency process is frozen in time. No player can officially sign with a new team. That kind of paralysis hits every franchise hard, completely stalling roster construction and casting major doubt over where top talents, including Caitlin Clark and the entire 2026 class, may end up. As of Friday, the Players' Union was still waiting on a response from the league to the proposal they submitted more than a month ago. Multiple sources told Front Office Sports that the union is demanding a massive 30% share of the league's gross revenue, along with a salary cap hovering around $10 million. And let's be real, every outlet keeps repeating the same numbers over and over, recycling the same articles like clockwork. Under the proposal, the supermax salary would jump to $249,000, while the league minimum would rise to $66,000. And that's basically the headline, on repeat. Now imagine the fallout if the CBA isn't finalized by the start of February. Free agency, which normally begins in January, wouldn't open until early March. That leaves teams barely a single month to negotiate contracts, sign key players, and lock in their rosters. It's a historic logjam that puts extreme pressure on front offices, shattering the traditional team-building timeline and forcing general managers into a frantic sprint against the clock, while the league's biggest stars are left waiting in limbo. The original CBA deadline of January 9th was already extended once, and still no deal was reached. No agreement, no third extension, just more uncertainty. Meanwhile, the union has also proposed eliminating destination restrictions, but the league has reportedly gone silent on that idea as well. Multiple sources now believe the best-case scenario is free agency opening in early March, if the ink finally dries and the CBA gets signed. But the chaos doesn't stop there. The WNBA draft, scheduled for April 13th, is now colliding head-on with this compressed timeline. If free agency only begins in March, teams will be forced to juggle veteran signings while simultaneously scouting, evaluating, and drafting incoming college stars. That creates a nightmare scenario for front offices, high-stakes decisions made under maximum pressure, with zero room for mistakes. The margin for error is razor-thin, and one rushed move could wreck team chemistry and derail long-term success. Free agency has to be squeezed in. The expansion draft has to be squeezed in. The lottery has to be squeezed in. And every team is expected to report to training camp by April 19th. That's the plan. That's the plan right now. If a deal gets signed by the beginning of February. But here's the catch. Right in the middle of free agency, front offices also have to prepare for the 2026 WNBA draft, currently scheduled for April 13th. So now you're juggling free agency, training camp prep, and getting ready to evaluate and draft college talent all at the same time. Do I think that's enough time? Honestly, no. And it gets even more complicated. The league also has to hold an expansion draft, a process that normally requires extensive planning, scouting, and player evaluation. Trying to cram that into an already overcrowded March creates a logistical nightmare. Expansion teams have to build entire rosters from scratch, and without a clear free agency picture, every strategic move becomes a gamble. This rapid-fire sequence, free agency, expansion draft, lottery, and the college draft, is a recipe for chaos. Teams could easily head into training camp with incomplete or unbalanced rosters, already behind the 8 ball. Do I believe they can technically get it done? Maybe. Do I believe there's enough time on the clock? Absolutely not. And no, I don't think this ends in a lockout. But I also don't believe the league can realistically hit that May 8th start date. If the deal gets signed by early February, I'm predicting a 2 to 3 week delay to the season. You never want to rush something this important, because when you rush, mistakes happen and the consequences linger. The implications for training camp are just as alarming. Teams are expected to report by April 19th, just 6 days after the WNBA draft. That leaves almost no time for coaches to integrate rookies, for veterans to adjust to new teammates, or for any real team building to take place. Training camp is where offenses are installed, defenses are built, chemistry is formed. Rushing that process all but guarantees a sloppy, disjointed start to the season, with players unsure of their roles, or even who they're playing alongside. And that's how you end up with a disastrous opening stretch. Players unsure where they're supposed to be, teams with zero chemistry, fan favorite squads dropping games early simply because nothing has gelled. Think about it. New players trying to learn new systems within 3 weeks, then training camp, then the draft, then more new players arriving right after. It's a non-stop cycle of disruption, and the clock just isn't on the league side. I don't know, but the article goes on to say that both sides continue to stress their commitment to making sure the league's 30th season is played. Sources familiar with the situation say the league is still officially targeting a May 8th tip-off for the 2024 season, a date that now feels increasingly unrealistic given the growing delays. If free agency doesn't begin until March, and then an expansion draft, the college draft, and training camp are all jammed into April, a May 8th start becomes almost impossible. There simply isn't enough time on the clock for teams to properly prepare. League insiders are already predicting a 2 to 3 week delay, pushing the season into late May, or possibly even June. And this wouldn't be a small inconvenience. A delayed start could disrupt broadcast schedules, impact player conditioning, and throw off the entire rhythm of the WNBA calendar. Rushing the launch risks a messy opening stretch, with teams underperforming due to limited preparation and broken chemistry. Players need time to build trust, learn systems, and adjust to new roles. For a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, beginning her professional career in the middle of this chaos would be an unprecedented challenge, one that could limit her immediate impact despite the massive expectations surrounding her arrival. Despite looming deadlines and mounting logistical headaches, both sides, the league and the players' union, have publicly reaffirmed their commitment to playing the 2024 season. Team owners have repeatedly stated they have no desire to invoke a lockout, especially with the league's popularity at an all-time high. Likewise, while the union authorized a strike back in December, they clarified it was a precautionary move, not a declaration of intent. That shared determination offers a sliver of hope that a deal will get done. Still, the sheer complexity of these negotiations threatens to derail a smooth resolution. Commitment alone doesn't erase the very real concerns surrounding the timeline. Adding another layer to the negotiations, the union has also proposed eliminating the destination clause, a rule that allows teams to control where a player can be traded. This potential shift would dramatically increase player autonomy, reshape roster construction, and fundamentally alter how teams plan for the future, making the talks even more complicated as the clock continues to tick. And amid all this uncertainty, one thing about Caitlin Clark's future is becoming increasingly clear. While no official announcement has been made, the league's scheduling patterns appear to be telling a story. Sources suggest certain teams are being positioned for maximum exposure, hinting at a strategic alignment with a high-profile incoming rookie. The subtle signals buried within leaked schedules are beginning to paint a compelling picture of where the WNBA's next superstar may be headed. Big Star is truly headed, even before the draft balls officially start bouncing. And all signs are pointing straight to the Indiana Fever. Leaked scheduling details are doing a lot of talking. Insiders know that no team in the league is facing more back-to-backs than the Fever. That kind of aggressive scheduling isn't random. It's built to maximize viewership, drive engagement, and spotlight a franchise the league expects to become a major attraction. Ask yourself, why load one team with such a demanding early slate unless you're preparing for a generational draw? The pieces are lining up fast. Indiana's schedule, especially those brutal back-to-back matchups, suggests the Fever are being positioned as a marquee team from day one. This doesn't feel accidental. It looks like a deliberate move to showcase a roster expected to feature one of the most electrifying rookies the WNBA has ever seen. The hype around Caitlin Clark's pro debut is massive, and placing her on a team with immediate national exposure is smart business. The league wants eyes on her from the jump, and the Fever's scheduling screams primetime relevance. That kind of strategic positioning says a lot about her likely destination, and the pattern doesn't stop there. The Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, two of the league's biggest brands, are also slated for heavy road schedules to open the season. The goal is clear: bring the league's biggest stars to as many markets as possible while fan interest is at an all-time high. When you combine those road-heavy starts for established contenders with Indiana's relentless back-to-backs, the picture becomes hard to ignore. The league is mapping out a nationwide showcase for its most marketable assets, including its future face. The first back-to-back of the season arrives immediately, with the Los Angeles Sparks playing on May 10th. That early, high-visibility matchup further underscores the league's intent to start the season at full throttle, even as CBA uncertainty lingers in the background. Every scheduling detail, from intense road trips for powerhouse teams to Indiana's grueling early stretch, appears carefully designed to amplify attention around specific franchises and, by extension, the stars expected to join them. While the CBA still awaits final signatures and the draft order isn't official, the WNBA scheduling strategy is offering a loud, indirect clue about Caitlin Clark's future. The sheer volume of back-to-backs assigned to the Indiana Fever points to a franchise racing for an explosion of star power and fan interest. It's the closest thing we've seen to a pre-draft announcement, strongly hinting that Clark will don the Fever uniform and electrify Indianapolis from day one. And that's why the urgency to finalize the CBA by early February can't be overstated. Miss that deadline, and the entire structure, schedule, free agency, draft, training camp, and even the season start could spiral into even deeper chaos. The cascading effects of any further delays could trigger a far from ideal launch for the WNBA's 2024 season, putting both player morale and fan excitement at risk. Every day without a finalized deal cranks up the pressure on both sides to find common ground before the entire process stalls out completely. This moment represents a high-stakes gamble, with the future of the league hanging in the balance. While a lockout still appears unlikely given both sides' public commitment to playing the season, the threat of a rushed and chaotic opening remains very real. A compressed timeline increases the risk of a disastrous start, marked by sloppy play, broken chemistry, and an environment that makes it difficult for new players to thrive. To truly capitalize on its unprecedented momentum, the league must prioritize a smooth, well-prepared launch over simply meeting calendar dates. And yet, even with official announcements still pending, the WNBA may have unintentionally tipped its hand. The disorder surrounding free agency, the pressure-packed CBA negotiations, and most notably, the revealing schedule handed to the Indiana Fever all point toward one unavoidable conclusion. Caitlin Clark is positioned to become the centerpiece of the Fever franchise. The league's current turbulence may push back her official debut, but it does little to cloud her destined trajectory. The foundation is already being laid, even if the curtain rises a bit later than planned, for the dawn of a new era in Indianapolis.